Hey everyone, welcome back. In previous video we have discussed assert true method. In this video let's understand assert false, which is opposite to the assert true. Assert false method checks for a condition which must return a boolean value. If boolean value is false, then test case is passed, and if boolean value is true, then test case is failed. So let's understand a scenario where we should use the assert false method. So let's switch to the Chrome browser. This is login page of Orange HRM application. Now I will log into this application. So I have entered username admin. Now I will enter the password admin123, and now I'll click on the login button. So once you log into the application, you are redirected to the home page. Let me close all this pop-up. So let's click on this leave button. So once you click on that, you are redirected to the next page where you can see the leave list. Now by default, one of the checkboxes is selected, which is a pending approval, and you can notice rest of the checkboxes are not selected. So let's take an example that you need to write a validation whether all checkbox is selected or not, where it is expected that it should not be selected. To check whether the checkbox is selected or not, Selenium provides a method is selected. You can call that. It returns a boolean value. If that checkbox is selected, it will return true. Otherwise it will return false. So here we are expecting that all checkbox should not be selected. As we are expecting that it should not be selected, hence assert false is the right candidate to apply this validation. So let's write the Selenium code to check whether this all checkbox is selected or not. Where it is expected, it should not be selected. Now let's write the Selenium code to check whether all checkbox is selected or not. Now I will switch to Eclipse, and here you can notice this is the code from the previous video. Now I want to create a new class, so I'll right click on the package TestNG demo, click on new, click on class. I will provide the class name AssertFalse demo, and now I will click on the finish button. So now you can notice class has got created. It's time to create a test case. So let's create a method, public void test case name. I'm giving check if all checkbox is selected. You can provide the name whatever you want. Now I will specify the open bracket, close bracket, and open curly bracket and close curly bracket. In previous video, we have already written a script to log into Orange HRM application. So let's copy the code from there. I'll go to the assert equals demo class and we'll copy the code from here till the line number 29. So I'll right click, copy. Now I will close this assert equals demo class and will paste this code here. So here you can notice these are the two lines of code to launch the Google Chrome browser. At the line number 17, I am opening the login page of Orange HRM application. Then I am entering the username, and at the line number 25, I am entering the password, and at the line number 28, I am clicking on the login button. So once the line number 28 is executed, Selenium will click on the login button and home page is displayed. Once the home page is displayed, we have to click on leave button. So let's write the code to click on the leave button. To click on leave button, we have to identify its locator. So let's move to browser. Now I'll right click on this leave, click on inspect, and let's look into the attributes to identify a locator. So here you can notice this is the HTML code written for the leave button, which tag name is A. It contains the ID attribute. So let's use the ID locator to identify this web element. So I'll copy the ID attribute value, and now let's go back to Eclipse. Now let's write a line of code to click on leave button. So I'll say driver dot find element by dot ID. Here I will specify the ID attribute value. To click on any button, Selenium provides the click method. So let's call it. Once Selenium executes the line number 32, Selenium will click on the leave button. So once the leave button is clicked, then this page will be launched where you have to check whether all checkbox is selected or not. So let's identify the locator for this all checkbox. I'll right click on that, click on inspect, and here you can notice this is the HTML code written for the all checkbox. It contains a ID attribute, so we can use the ID locator to identify this web element. I will copy this ID attribute value and will go back to Eclipse to write a code to check whether all checkbox is selected or not. So let's write a code for it. Driver dot find element by dot ID. Here I will specify the ID attribute value. If you want to check whether a checkbox is selected or not, for that Selenium provides a method is selected. Is selected method returns a boolean value. If that checkbox is selected, it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. So let me call this method is selected. At the end, I will put semicolon. Once line number 35 is executed, Selenium will check whether the checkbox is selected or not. And let's store a result into the boolean variable. So I'll say boolean is all checkbox selected status, right? So at runtime, whatever is the status of that checkbox, it would be stored into this variable. Now we need to write a assert to specify that checkbox is not selected. We are expecting that checkbox should not be selected. For that, Selenium provide a assertion assert false. So let's call it. So I'll say assert dot assert false, right? So here you can notice assert false is a method which accepts a boolean condition. So whatever is the status of the checkbox, I am storing into a variable is all checkbox selected status. So let's specify this variable here. When I execute this code and line number 39 is executed, TestNG is expecting the value of this checkbox should be false. If the value is false, then the test case is going to pass. If the value is true, which means the checkbox is selected, then test case is going to fail. And let's see whether it is working as expected or not. So I'll right click on the class, run as, and here I am not able to find TestNG test because here I have not specified @test annotation. So let's mark this method as a test case. For that, you need to apply @test annotation. We need to add the import statement. So let's move the mouse on test and let's select the import statement from TestNG. So now TestNG will consider this method as a test case. Now we can execute this test case. So let's right click in the class, run as TestNG test. I'll click on the OK button. Selenium has launched the Google Chrome browser. It is opening the login page of Orange HRM application. It entered username, password, clicked on the login button. And now Selenium clicked on the leave button, and here you can notice all checkbox is not selected, which means our test case should be passed. So let's verify in the Eclipse console whether the test case is passed or not. So here you can notice run 1 and pass 1, which means one test case got executed, which is passed. So let's verify the same in the execution report as well. Let me refresh my project. I'll right click on that, click on refresh. Now I will open test output folder. Here emailable report.html file is available. So let's right click on it, open with web browser. Report is opened and here you can see check if all checkbox selected test case is passed, right? Now let's go back to the Eclipse one more time. So why this test case is passed? Because here I have specified assert false, where TestNG is expecting that value of this variable should be false. In case the value of this variable is true, then your test case will get failed. So that's all for this video. Now let's meet in the next video.